Alright guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm sorry I sound horrible. I have a sinus infection that I'm coming off of, and that is not fun. Um, from the title alone, I think you kind of have an idea of what this video is about. It's going to be a little bit more serious, I guess. Because, eh, yeah, you can read the title. If you've been following my Instagram too, I'm sure you already know what I'm about to go over. But I want to kind of cover this for some people um, who I saw were kind of getting upset or kind of being judgmental about me with him, and I wasn't going to get into that in a second. Well, for one, I have a new position at work, which has gotten me off 12s. Like I said, if you've been keeping up on Instagram, I talked a little bit about that my room was a mess. You can actually see the floor. It's clean all the way around. Like, woo. Yeah. Bed's made too. Would you look at that? For a while there, I was doing so many 12s and weekends that I would just come home, maybe work on her a little bit and crash. Like I did that for like 2 months straight. Like I'd be waiting on parts in the mail. It would come in. I'd throw them on her, go to bed, wake up, go to work, and then do it all over again. 1 to 2 hours every night that I had to myself. And my room was just a mess. 'Cause there was just Amazon boxes, Amazon envelopes, you name it, packaging on the floor. Um, and that has changed now. I said I got a new position at work. Not only does it pay more, but it gives me more free time. It got me off 12s, it got me off a lot of weekends, and I'm super grateful for it. It's been life changing for me. Um, so, but as you guys know, I have Beach Bear was my first character I owned, and was a character that initially I was kind of just planning on keeping for the rest of my life, really. Um, when I initially wanted to get into this hobby, which has been for a very, very long time, probably since I was 14, 15. I've always been fascinated with these, and then when Five Nights at Freddy's came out, like a lot of us, I got really, really into real animatronics in general back in 2013. Um, and since then, I was always I wanted to own one. It's something I always wanted to do. It looked amazing to work on these, maintain it. I thought it'd be so cool to have one in my room, and it was also something that I never really realistically expected to own because, unlike most people or most kids, let me specify in the hobby, don't understand the pricing of these characters and how much they cost to both maintain and own. Back then, I did have that understanding, and I knew that, well, I'm probably never going to own one of these. Well, fast forward to recent times, and I was able to get an amazing job that not only allowed me to um, improve my career and improve my own way and be able to pay my own way in life, but also gave me an expendable income to be able to save up for these characters. And when that job started being stable, and I realized that I was going to love it there, and that I was really invested in this place, and that I'd probably be there for a while, I decided to um, start setting aside money because I wanted to buy one of these cars. This was literally a bucket list item for me, just owning one, and I have three in my room now. But I originally made a post on the subreddit animatronics for sale, really not expecting much. I originally posted for Mitzi or Rolf because I personally prefer standing characters, and Mitzi and Rolf were my favorite characters from the Rock of Fire Explosion. Um, they were who I thought I originally wanted. They were kind of what I was more interested in, was a Rock of Fire Explosion at the time, and it was kind of what I was more familiar with because, let's be real, the Rock of Fire Explosion is probably the most popular real animatronic out there, next to Munch's Make Believe Band and the Cyberamics, but the CEI bots were just more common. Um, so I made a post looking for a role for Mitzi, and someone actually commented down below and linked me to a beach bear that had already sold. Um, and I knew that at the time, but I was like, I said he did sell, but I'd be interested in a beach bear. And a few days later, Day Tripper um, actually reached out to me, and they were like, "Hey, we have a beach bear and a fats for sale. Would you be interested?" And I was like, "Yeah." And we kind of arranged the price and arranged a time to meet. I had to wait a few months because I didn't have my vacation days yet at work, and I kind of had to do some other stuff around my place, as well as come up with the last little bit of money that I needed. I had most of it at the time, otherwise I wouldn't have committed. So I put a down payment on him, and a few months go by, and I see that they have some props for sale, and I'm like, I'd figure I'd shoot my shot because I absolutely love these prop characters. By the way, Sun and Moon are two of my favorite animatronics. Period. Uh, but I was like, "Do you have a Sun or Moon for sale by chance? I see you're selling nice props." And they said, actually, yeah, we do have a moon for sale. So I ended up actually adding him to the deal. So I ended up that winter, last November, I ended up picking up both these guys. Drove up to Colorado with me and my dad, and it was an amazing trip, really. I had one of the best, honestly, that was one of the best times of my life, best memories I have. It was about, I said, 24-hour one-way drive um, up to get these guys, and we crashed a hotel, and we broke these guys apart, threw them in the bed of a truck and in the back of the truck. We had to take these things apart, and they barely fit. We ended up driving back with both Beach Bear and Moon, and we got home, and once again, I have all these pictures on my Instagram. If you're interested in that, go follow that or check that out. And I got home and I built a stage real quick for him so I could get him out of the trailer because I wanted to see him in my room. And we ended up getting him in here, which was not easy to get through a smaller door like that, trust me. So we ended up getting these guys, and I immediately started working on him. I ended up cleaning him real good. Best of the time, I know better methods now, but I was still understanding these things at the time. So I used to the best of my ability to clean both these guys off. Now I have a better method, and I plan on cleaning his frame to shine it up a lot more. Um, and months go by, and I finally get my controller for him, and I set him up, and he was the first one I got to run. Initially, I ordered this controller for Beach Bear, who's now hooked up to Barbara, but it took a while to come in. But this one came in immediately, really. So I was able to get Moon going, and it was an amazing just to see him moving on his own. It was like, I set up the valves and learned how to, I completely rehosed him because his hoses were all messed up. So I just rehosed him, wired the valves, set up Program Blue, and he was a huge learning experience for me and a huge stepping stone and learning how to set up these characters, hose them, set up their wiring, learn Program Blue, and I got him running on December 27th, I believe. It was a few days after Christmas. I got him running. I posted that video, and it was just so awesome. And in the meantime of doing that, I was doing work on him. I immediately ordered his fur and his face mask from CEI themselves, and they did a great job on it, in my opinion. I love the paint. A lot of people say the paint's different than like what most beach bears are, but I actually kind of like it. I think it gives them a little uniqueness. The fur, and I replaced his leg cylinder down there because this one didn't work. I adjusted all his flows. I painted his surfboard, rebuilt his valves, all that, and got him fully working. And in the meantime, I was waiting for my controller, so I never could actually run him. I could technically run him now if I wanted to, but I'm not really interested in that. I'll get to that later. Well, fast forward a few days, and I see Bullfrog's Banjo, who is another great YouTuber. I'm sure you've heard if you're watching this video. And I saw him make a public post on Barbara here, and he he made a passing joke to someone because they were talking about Barbara, and he was like, "Well, buy her then." And if I literally that night I thought I was gonna write him because I was like, because really, once I got into these guys, obviously I got really deep into more animatronics and kind of learning more about them. And I found Barbara through a lot of my research, and I thought her design was awesome. I love this kind of rock and roll, just cool standing character from a niche band. There's really not a lot of information on them. There's not many left in the world. The few videos of her running are either, from the 80s, you can barely make anything out, or, it's the ones that were rebuilt for the 2020 Major Mags that reopened, and those just looked and worked horribly. Um, so I'd actually seen Bullfrog's Banjo video on his, or her, this exact one at the time, and I was like, wow, that's so awesome. She's so freaking cool. I'd love to own that. But literally, I remember, it's funny because I actually pulled these images up because I sent them to someone. I was like, I would absolutely love to own her. It's like, but it's completely unreasonable because there's none for sale. There's never gonna be any for sale. And a week later, that's when this all happened. So I slept on it because I thought he was joking. I didn't want to bug him. Um, but the next morning I woke up and I was like, screw it, I'll shoot my shot. And I wrote him. I was like, were you serious about selling her? And he was like, yeah, yeah, I am. So we ended up working something out, and like 2 weeks later, I drove up and picked her up, which was another amazing trip. And through the rest of that, I ended up restoring her over the time. But as weeks went on, as I worked on her and fell in love with her more than him, and just generally enjoyed her more, I kind of came to the conclusion that I don't want two guitarists because, as you can see, I have a very I can back up here to give you a little bit better example. Very, very limited space in my room, my setup. And I don't really want this to overcrowd my room, and I really don't want this to pour out of my room and into my family's home because that's not really fair to them. So I can't really fit a lot of characters here, maybe 3 to 4 max. Um, and I would like to have more instruments so I can have more broad programs and be able to program more instrument playing characters. And generally, I just don't want two guitarists next to each other. And during this time, I quoted CEI on his missing cosmetics, which he is missing his legs, his feet, his hands. He's missing his foam fake arm on this side that attaches to his fret hand. All of his body fur, his tree stump, pieces on his guitar, a knob, stuff like that. Um, and I would just kind of, his wig, and I just kind of came to the conclusion that that's a lot of stuff. And CEI's quote was over 5,500 basically for everything that remained. And that's even if Jack Turner gets more fur for him. So not only would I have an extra $6,000 into this character, but it would end up with two guitarists, two characters that kind of do the same thing, kind of move the same. Matter of fact, she can actually run off his signals very closely, which is very funny. But they had pretty much the same movements. They're very similar characters. And he really wasn't my favorite Rockafire character. Anyways, I took him at the time because he was available and he was in great shape. So I kind of just came to the conclusion that I didn't want to put this $6,000 in him just to turn around and sell him or trade him. Uh, I made that in the post, so I made the hard decision of being like, hey, I post this on Instagram and I think Discord, and I was like, I'm looking to sell or I'm looking to trade this character. The initial response was pretty negative. A lot of people were telling me, oh no, don't sell him, no, keep him. I made this and I kind of explained what I'm explaining now in this video of why I'm trading him. And it's not easy for me because trust me, I absolutely love this character. I have a lot of emotion tied into him. Um, and a lot of people were, kind of judging me. He's like, oh, did he just get him? Or, yada, yada, yada. And I made that in the post. I thought that would kind of comfort people that I'm not trying to flip this character at all. That was never my intention, isn't my intention ever, is to flip any of these characters. They are investments, don't get me wrong. Um, that's kind of something I have to keep in the back of my mind is that the amount I've spent a lot of money on the 3 characters you see in this room, and I can rest assured that they are investments. I don't ever plan on selling them, but I could, you know what I mean? So, but I made that very clear that he was only for trade. I was not interested in money of any kind on him, and that he would only ever be for trade. And with that, I got a few offers, and 2 that I'm very interested in. And I'm working with those people now, and I have to kind of come to the conclusion of the 2 out of the 2 which one I want to go for. But both are going to fit my setup better. They're going to be cooler characters. I think you guys will enjoy them more in my programming and my posts. And either home he goes to is an amazing home that will take way better care of him than I will. Because even if I kept him, and the thing that kept him, he's going to sit in a storage unit or a shed, and he's going to rot. He's going to his mask's going to melt off. His rings are going to dry out, and it's just going to be. It kind of has to come down to that. Would you guys rather see this character just sit and do nothing, or would you rather go to a loving home? Um, and I can't let him sit and rot. I just can't do that in the back of my head because he deserves more than that. There's people here who love these characters. I love these characters. I can't do that to him because there's so many already out there that have gone through that. And he was from Scandia. He was literally running until I think COVID is kind of what was the final nail in Scandia's coffin, at least with the Rock of Fire. So about 2019 up till 2020 at least. So he like all his seals and stuff were good. So that's kind of a tough decision I had to make. That's what kind of want to make this video was not only to update people on this channel that maybe don't follow my Instagram, but also a little bit to give a better insight into why I'm getting rid of this character. Um, and I it's kind of a lot of things. Maybe if he came with his cosmetics, or I could get a secondhand pair for a lot cheaper, I would maybe consider keeping both of them. But I said on top of both of them being very similar, they're both guitar playing. And on top of that, the $6,000 essentially that I'd have to put into Beach Bear still, I can't personally justify it when the trades I've gotten. not only are the characters complete, but they also don't need a lot of work. They're pretty much plug and play. Um, and I said they're characters that I'm more interested in than Beach Bear. And that's kind of just a general update because I don't really update this YouTube channel a whole lot other than, I post videos of her shows and Moon shows. But I don't really ever, I said I was going to post more like update videos or work in progress videos, but I just don't have motivation to really edit on YouTube that much. I find it easier to just post on Instagram because I can post clips or just short little things versus a long drawn out video. Because this video is going to be long. It's probably like 20 minutes of me just rambling. So if you made it to this far, good on you. I don't know. I'll say comment something, but that's kind of cringe. So yeah, that's kind of the insight right now. I have a couple things like kind of planned for these characters. I would like to run a program through him before I get rid of him, and that probably will happen. Um, I guess to kind of give an update on top of that, it's just now that I'm kind of gone over him already and why I'm getting rid of him, I kind of want to go over kind of some stuff I have for the future. Um, One is Moon. His mask is very rough. I have a friend who is going to do their best to restore it. Depending on how great they do, they're a very great painter. They've painted a ton of masks before, so I have very much faith in them. I think they're going to do a great job. But absolute worst case scenario, I plan on just buying a new Moon mask if if he's too far gone for them to really restore. I plan on getting something to cover him as well once Beach Bear's gone, so that way, you only see him when he gets activated. Um, I showed up here earlier, you can kind of see my lighting setup. It's not pretty, but I hit it the best I could, really, when you think about it. I'll have one more going for the character that I replace Beach Bear with, or Beach Bear himself will go there. And I have to buy a lighting controller for Program Blue, which hopefully I can do soon, because it kind of annoying right now. I just have it set up on this here, and that turns on both our controllers as well. So that'll kick on. And that turns on, obviously, all the floods for the characters. So once I get the controller, that'll just be able to control through the Program Blue. But yeah, she's pretty much done. Really, the only thing I have left to do on her is I want to buy another hand cylinder because her strumming hand's a little shot. And I do have a couple outfits I'm going to buy for her as well. And I plan on, because this is her original outfit, I plan on using this on her mostly. But I do need to get a new white shirt. This one's kind of, it's seen better days. But yeah, if you made it this far, thanks for supporting the channel. It means a lot to me that you guys care about these characters as much as I do, and to get this kind of support, mainly on my Instagram. My Instagram blew up, and I was not expecting that actually. That was very emotional for me when that kind of one video I made went viral. But yeah, so don't worry about Beach Bear. I promise you, he's going to an amazing home. Whoever ends up getting him, um, you'll probably see more updates on him from them than you will me. Either way, so I feel like it's the better choice for everyone here. And yeah, I'm excited to show you guys what I have in store, some of the stuff I plan on doing, and the character that I eventually get to take his spot in this band. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in, and see you guys in the next video, I guess. Oh, I say that, but I'm probably not going to upload for another, 3 months.